Sinner raises alarms. It's evident that I'm not at 100%. The Italian has been dragging physical issues in recent weeks. Jannik Sinner's body is beginning to show signs of wear. The world number 2 openly admitted that he's not at his best physically after defeating Francisco Cerundolo in the round of 16 of the Rolex Paris Masters. Despite winning 7-5, 6-1, the Italian showed clear signs of fatigue and muscular discomfort. "I'm trying to manage it in the best possible way, but it's clear that I'm not at 100%, he confessed bluntly at the end of the match. His words reflect an evident reality. Sinner is at his limit after a year full of emotions, demands, and an unforgiving calendar. The body asks for rest. Sinner has always been known for his composure on court and professionalism off it, but even the most disciplined players have a physical limit. Last week, he was crowned champion in Vienna, a title he celebrated with the intensity of someone who knows what it takes to stay at the top. However, that effort is now beginning to take its toll. During his match against Cerundolo, the Italian appeared slower on his feet and less explosive than usual, especially in the first set. In the second, he relied on talent and courage to close out the match convincingly, but the gestures of pain were evident throughout. "I was up a break twice in the first set but couldn't take advantage. I put myself in a difficult position. I'm happy with how I managed the match. I felt much better afterward," the player explained. The year 2025 has been a turbulent one for Jannik Sinner. He began the season at full throttle at the Australian Open, where he displayed dominant tennis before a temporary doping suspension forced him to stop abruptly. Upon his return, the Italian showed admirable strength, reaching Grand Slam finals and staying in the fight for world number 1 against Carlos Alcaraz. But the price has been high. His body, subjected to constant strain, is now asking for a break. Sinner confirms his romance with a famous model and influencer, ex of Schumacher's son. Jannik Sinner has addressed certain rumors about a love triangle involving models Brooks Nader and Leyla Hasanovic. The Italian tennis player was elegant yet direct and firm, confirming his romantic relationship with the ex-girlfriend of Mick, son of Michael Schumacher. Sinner thus makes official his romance with Leyla, with whom he had been linked for months. "Thank you so much for the support. The work you do, the effort. Even understanding me sometimes isn't easy, but thank you for your commitment. My family, my girlfriend, my friends, and even those who support us from home, thank you so much for the support," said Sinner after defeating Alexander Zverev in the final of the Vienna Open to claim the 22nd title of his career. Sinner's famous phone wallpaper. A few months ago, the Italian press unleashed a real media storm around Jannik Sinner. The reason had nothing to do with his on-court performance but with a personal detail that didn't go unnoticed by photographers or the celebrity press. Sinner was caught holding his phone, and on the screen, visible to everyone, appeared the image of a young woman who quickly sparked curiosity about her identity. It didn't take long for Italian journalists to identify her. It was none other than Danish model Leyla Hasanovic, a regular in the fashion world and, moreover, known for having previously dated Formula One driver Mick Schumacher, son of the legendary champion Michael Schumacher. The discovery spread like wildfire in Italy, where Sinner is already seen as a national symbol not only for his impeccable tennis but also for his carefully maintained public image. The revelation of who appeared on the tennis player's phone wallpaper generated both surprise and curiosity among his followers, as the young star has always been extremely reserved about his private life. Until now, Italy's #1 tennis player had avoided speaking about romances, close friendships, or possible partners, but he has now confirmed his relationship with the young model. Leyla Hasanovic, of Danish origin, has established herself as one of her country's most promising models, collaborating with major international brands and maintaining a strong social media presence. Her relationship with Mick Schumacher was closely followed by the German press and motorsport fans, who saw in the couple a union of two young people whose surnames were already synonymous with success. However, that story ended, and both went their separate ways. In a country where the private lives of elite athletes quickly become matters of national interest, the romance between Sinner and Hasanovic is no exception, especially considering that Jannik, at 23, is one of the emerging icons of world tennis, destined to succeed the great champions of recent decades. Every move he makes, both on and off the court, is scrutinized, much like Spain's Carlos Alcaraz, who has also been linked to several young women. The Italian tennis player Jannik Sinner, currently ranked second in the ATP rankings, has a golden opportunity to finish the year as world #1, although it doesn't depend solely on him. Sinner comes from winning the ATP 500 in Vienna, where he defeated German Alexander Zverev in a tight final, and he is now in the quarterfinals of the Paris Masters 1000, the last tournament of this category in the season. The surprising defeat in Paris of Spanish world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz opened the door for the Italian to dream of ending the season at the top of the rankings, although he needs to win everything ahead and hope for a few results to go his way. If he wins the title at the Paris Masters 1000, Sinner would return to world number 1, reaching 11,500 points and surpassing the Spaniard, who currently has 11,250. However, things get tighter at the ATP Finals, the year-end tournament featuring the top 8 players of the season, since Sinner is the defending champion. That means he won't earn any ranking points if he wins again, while Alcaraz is defending only 200 points. Thus, Alcaraz would only need to earn 600 points at the ATP Finals, achievable if he wins all 3 matches in the group stage, to secure the year-end number 1 spot. There's also a possible scenario where Alcaraz and Sinner could meet in a decisive match for the world number 1 ranking. This would happen if the Italian finishes first in his group and the Spaniard second, leading them to face off in the semifinals. The aspect that worries Sinner the most is his physical condition, as he hasn't looked at his best in either the Shanghai Masters 1000 or the Paris tournament, which could be a clear disadvantage in the final stretch of the year. Sinner and Alcaraz have been the dominant forces on tour in 2025, meeting in the last 3 Grand Slam finals and distancing themselves considerably from their rivals. Everything suggests this rivalry will continue for years to come. The shocking decision of Carlos Alcaraz after his defeat in Paris. Carlos Alcaraz fell in his debut at the Paris Masters 1000 to Cameron Norrie, extending his poor run at this tournament. The Spaniard admitted he never found feeling or rhythm on the court, a setback he'll try to turn into motivation to finish the season strongly at the upcoming ATP Finals. Carlos Alcaraz once again left Paris with the same frustrating feeling as in previous years. The Masters 1000 of the French capital remains a thorn in his meteoric career. This time, the elimination came earlier than expected, in his debut, against a Cameron Norrie who played with the confidence and boldness of someone with nothing to lose. 5 attempts, 5 disappointments. The Paris Masters 1000 seems to have his number. The player from Murcia arrived well rested after 3 weeks off due to an ankle injury that had kept him out of Shanghai. His return, however, was colder than expected. "I've trained a lot here, I was feeling great, physically very well, moving on the court and hitting the ball," he explained after the match. But that dominant version the public was expecting never appeared. Not even the first set, which he won, reflected his true level. "Even in the first set I won, I felt I could do much more than I did," confessed the world number 1. As the match went on, things turned against him. Norrie, an awkward, left-handed player with an admirable defensive capacity, found his rhythm, while Alcaraz sank into self-doubt. "I didn't feel good today. Too many mistakes. I didn't have any sensation." In the second set, things got worse. The Spaniard tried to raise his intensity, but the Briton, increasingly confident, dragged him into long rallies where Alcaraz never felt comfortable. "I tried to improve in the second set, but it was the opposite. I felt even worse." Beyond being upset with himself, Alcaraz was fair in defeat. "I have to recognize Cam's merit because I think he didn't let me get into or come back in the match. Norrie played some really brilliant tennis," he said after congratulating his opponent. The Briton, who had already troubled the Spaniard in Rio in 2023, once again showed that his tennis, when confident, can compete with anyone. "I'm very disappointed with my level today, but it is what it is," Alcaraz concluded, making clear that his ambition remains intact. He knows there's a huge margin for improvement and that such setbacks are part of the process. The blow is tough, but not definitive. The player from El Palmar still has the ATP Finals ahead and the chance to finish the season on a high note. Paris hasn't been the scene of his triumphs, but each fall seems to strengthen his competitive spirit.